There is a quiet, profound moment in your life that happens without any warning. You are sitting in a room, looking at a friend, a partner, or a crowd of strangers, and suddenly, the invisible curtain drops. The comforting words, the polite smiles, the social contracts you have spent your entire life believing in dissolve into absolute silence. For a split second, the identity everyone spends their waking moments protecting fades away, and you see the cold, mechanical reality beneath. You realize that almost everything we do is a performance. Humanity has always been fascinated by hidden truths. Ancient philosophers searched for them. Psychologists tried to map them. And yet, there has always been a silent, terrifying intuition shared across all cultures. The feeling that there are certain aspects of human nature, certain underlying realities, that we are simply not equipped to look at directly. Just as the human eye is not designed to stare directly into the burning core of the sun, the human mind was perhaps never meant to see the raw, unfiltered mechanics of its own existence. But what happens when the filter breaks? What happens when you accidentally see it? To understand the weight of this realization, think about how a theater operates. As an audience member, you are meant to look only at the actors in the warm spotlight. You are meant to believe in the romance, the dialogue, and the magic. But if you were to walk backstage during the performance, the magic would instantly evaporate. You would see the exhausted actors wiping off their makeup, the cheap cardboard props, the hidden ropes pulling the scenery, and the calculated manipulation of the lights. Society operates on the exact same psychological architecture. We survive by collectively agreeing to focus on the spotlight. We agree to believe that love is always unconditional, that people are inherently selfless, and that justice naturally prevails. But hypervigilant minds do not look at the spotlight. They look at the shadows. They see the micro-expressions of envy in a friend's smile. They recognize the transactional nature of a romantic gesture. They hear the silent expectations attached to a gift. They have walked backstage, and once you see the ropes pulling the scenery of human behavior, you can never sit in the audience and enjoy the play again. What makes this level of awareness so isolating is that it aligns with one of the most unsettling theories in modern psychology. Carl Jung believed that every human being operates primarily out of a hidden, primitive core called the shadow. According to Jung, the polite, civilized version of a person is merely a fragile island surrounded by an immense ocean of survival instincts, repressed selfishness, and latent darkness. While the conscious mind focuses on saying the right things, the unconscious shadow dictates the actual motives. Most people wander through life blissfully ignoring this. But when you have experienced trauma, betrayal, or intense emotional neglect, your brain mutates. It develops a psychological sonar. It starts sending signals into the deep, dark waters of human interaction, listening to the echoes that bounce back. It no longer listens to what people say. It listens to what their shadow is whispering. You begin to realize that the person comforting you might just be enjoying their position of superiority, that the loyalty of your peers is often just a byproduct of convenience. Your brain detects these emotional contradictions before anyone else does. You are receiving signals from a frequency that most people do not even know exists. This is why these truths are classified as things humans were never meant to see. Because the human nervous system is simply not built to process the absolute terrifying selfishness of the species all at once. It is like a deep-sea creature that is suddenly dragged up to the surface, crushed by the overwhelming pressure of the light. When you see human nature clearly, it does not arrive as a sudden, glorious enlightenment. It arrives as a slow, creeping grief. You begin to grieve for the world you thought you lived in. A dream about a beautiful house is ruined when you realize the foundation is made of sand. You stop arguing with people when they lie to you, because you can see exactly why they are lying. You see their insecurities, their desperate need for validation, their fragile egos wrapped in defensive anger. You cannot even hate them for it, because you understand that they are just biological machines trying to survive their own pain. The anger fades away, leaving behind a cold, clinical understanding. You become a psychological autopsy surgeon, dissecting every interaction until there is no romance, no mystery, and no comfort left. And this brings us to the profound, quiet tragedy of seeing too much. The ultimate cost of psychological clarity is total, unyielding isolation. You sit in a crowded room, surrounded by laughter and conversation, but you might as well be on another planet. You watch people exchange empty pleasantries, building their lives on convenient illusions, and you realize you can no longer join them. You cannot pretend not to know what you know. You cannot force yourself to care about the trivial dramas of the stage when you have already seen the empty walls of the theater. People may look at you and think you are arrogant, distant, or cold, but they do not understand that you are just incredibly tired. You are tired of pretending that the cardboard props are real. Jung noticed that his most perceptive patients were always the most profoundly lonely. They understood everyone, but no one understood them. The dream of genuine connection becomes almost impossible when you can see the strings attached to every human hand. You are entirely safe from being manipulated, but you are also entirely quarantined from the warmth of human ignorance.
The question then remains, if seeing the truth brings so much pain, why does the mind force you to look? Why does it strip away the comforting illusions and leave you standing in the cold? Perhaps it is because evolution does not care about your happiness. It cares about your survival. The illusions were a vulnerability. The blind trust was a liability. Your mind broke the glass to ensure you would never be caught off guard again. We assume that knowledge is always a gift, a beautiful awakening. But some knowledge is an irreversible exile. You cannot go back to sleep once you have woken up. You are forced to walk through the rest of your life carrying the heaviest secret of all. But there is a strange, quiet peace in the desert of reality. When you stop expecting humans to be perfect, when you stop demanding the illusions to be real, you finally stop being disappointed. You accept the darkness of the cave. You realize that you are observing a fragile, frightened species. And in that terrifying clarity, for the very first time in your life, you are completely and utterly free.